Hello, my name is Imogen Caterer. I'm lead coach from Gloucester Healthy Mind and Relationships Meetup Group. This is for the group, but also I will probably post it on Facebook as well. So a couple of audiences there for it. I thought I'd talk a little bit about the books we have available to buy at meetings, and you can order these yourselves. They're not really acquired through particularly special channels. What we've had until recently is the books of Sydney Banks only. Sydney Banks he's used to be a welder, and he came from Scotland and he moved to Canada, and there he had this great sort of massive insight into how the human mind works, and he then started the movement which is called Three Principles, or the Inside Out Understanding movement today, producing, because this explanation is true, it alleviates lots of problems like unhappiness, bad relationships, to save several marriages, and goes out into prisons and in business, improves productivity, deals with all sorts of health, mental health issues, and also physical health problems as well. The misuse of thought causes massive problems in the body. So of his books, we have in the library all of the books that are not sequels of others, because some are novels that have a sequel. We don't have the sequels. Here's one that actually isn't a novel. It's called The Missing Link. Now, I'm in a book study course, and we have spent now close to 18 hours studying this book. It has, I don't know if you see this, relatively few words in it, but they're very powerful, and the idea is to step back from them and have your own insights, not normally as massive as Sydney Banks, but just there's little nudges where you go, oh, I see something. I see that's true, and maybe you didn't recognise it before. And as you really see things come through, you naturally change. So that's The Missing Link. It's very powerful. And if you come to the meetings, I'm happy to tell you more about these books. The two that often people end up deciding between in my group is Second Chance by Sydney Banks, which is about 90 pages, and the slightly longer Enlightened Gardener. I think a good guide is, do you want to read about Hawaii, or do you want to read about eccentric English gardeners? Because they're both really great books, and I've had some powerful shifts with them. Just reading and stepping back, and they are not instruction books. They are not do this, do that, do the other. I remember talking to a client once who said, oh well, I've done it and I worked through this book and it was really hard work. This is not hard work. This is keep reading and take some breaks sometimes. This one, Dear Lisa, it's not talked about that much, but this is also written by Sydney Banks. And it took me 5 times through because it reads like a simple children's story, and it took me about 5 reads of this to go, oh wow, to have a shift. And I'm not even sure I could tell you what that shift was, or not the inner content of the shift, perhaps would be the right word. But towards the end of reading this for about the 5th time, I just burst into tears, and something shifted within me, and I just knew exactly what to do. So I went over to the computer and typed Oxfam in the search engine, Oxfam being one of the top British international aid charities, and got a direct debit from them to donate to them. Now, that's how idea how large that was to me. I used to give quite a few charities, and then as life went on I got more and more nervous, and jobs weren't coming as quite my way as much as I would like, And I just sort of shut down and thought, I can't give to anything. I just have to hold on to what I have in a sort of really rather insecure state. So to go up and start giving again and feel more expanded because of that, that was something else. And I was tremendously grateful to what I saw reading Dear Lisa, not Dear Lisa itself, but what I saw while reading it that enabled me to do that. So I've just added to the library 2 other books. This has been called by me, hold on, focus has gone a bit weird. That's better. This has been called by me, Sid's 7th book, because there are 2 sequels. Sid's 7th book, Isle of Knowledge by Linda Query. A quite extraordinary book where Linda is talking to Sid, and it's a different way of Sid to start speaking. And I think there's some phrase about Sid's checked it. Sid's checked what he's... So it's not her poor memory of what Sid says. Sid backs that this is the sort of thing he says. And this is really quite something, this book. It itself has a sequel, but we're only stocking this at the moment. How to encapsulate it. I can't encapsulate it. There are several things in here that I do not get, that I do not understand, but they've obviously got something hugely powerful here, and I have read this 4 times, as it were, maybe 4 times, 5 times, because I think it's really potent. And this is a modern rendition of what the key of what Sid is trying to say. This is Invisible Power, which is probably coming out as a mirror image. Invisible Power, Insight Principles at Work. It's written by a bunch of corporate trainers. Please ignore that. Please just buy it if you're human. Because I have... I'm less than halfway through this book, full disclosure. It's so good. For me, it really hit a spot. And if you hear me talk now, it comes out in what I say. So maybe you will have heard some of the stuff that I found so potent from this book already, if you've come to the group. They just have a very simple way of explaining this stuff, particularly for those who like to think. And I went on a webinar with them, and I was seeing new things. I was taking stress and pressure off myself that I'd been inadvertently putting myself under for years just by listening to their webinar and participating in it, it has to be said. I just began to see how underneath it all, well, we talk about the body having intelligence, but that intelligence is all around us, and it does more than just deal with our body. It reaches out in some of those serendipities, some of those, hey, how did that happen kind of moments. And it's helped me see this book, or that webinar primarily, I think, has helped me see just how common that is, how extraordinarily common that is, and how I'd been writing it off because I'd heard insights were some huge thing, whereas actually they can be as much as, hey, I'm a bit tired tonight, I don't think I'll watch that movie. There are things that are keeping us together and keeping our world together, and we don't acknowledge them. And we get into a big fat ego as a result. And I had an ego about things I had achieved, yes, but also things I think I should have achieved, which just weren't working out. And I had that real downer on it, and then it occurred to me, maybe they're not meant to be. Maybe there's an intelligence behind life that sees more than I give it credit for. So here we are, the Sid Banks books that don't have a sequel. And these two, here goes the focus, and these two are available at Gloucester Healthy Mind and Relationships meetings, but you can get those you can get them on the internet otherwise. But I do hope you'll come along to our meetings if you're in the vicinity. Okay, cheers, bye.